Very humble boy, very quiet. Had his ways of, always being there for everyone, especially all his brothers and sisters, and nephews, nieces. He was their protector. They looked up to him.
It has been a harrowing and confusing time for the Donohue Ketchup family. Since their son and brother, 27-year-old Aubrey Donahue, was shot dead by police following a 4-hour siege in the small town of Mareeba, west of Cairns.
We want justice for Aubrey because we want the truth, because we know as family that he was ready to turn his life around. He was a good boy, a good young man. He's had his days, like everybody does, but he deserves justice.
I ask you all to show your love and strength towards Leslie because she needs it.
On a Saturday morning in March, police were called to a home, responding to reports a man was threatening self-harm and wouldn't allow his female partner to leave.
The first thing, how many hours they were there for, I should have got called up, and he's got a twin brother. He would have listened to either one of us or his sisters. He'll always listen. This day, I don't know why I never got called.
The public has been told little about what transpired inside the Love Street address over the next 4 hours. But after that initial call for help, Specialist Response Police were called in.
We have said that from the start, Family should have been contacted. It never happened. Never happened.
Initially, police said Mr. Donahue was shot because he came at officers with a knife.
It's alleged that the man was armed with a knife when he advanced towards police.
2 days after the shooting, the head of the police union told media officers shot Mr. Donahue to save the life of a young woman, understood to be his partner, and that Mr. Donahue had a history of serious domestic violence offences.
All police involved in this matter performed professionally, responsibly and with great restraint. Police only acted when it was clear that the life of an innocent hostage was in jeopardy.
That's what police do. They put out there what's in the best interest of the police. Hopefully the inquest will bring to light and narrow down why there was a decision made to end Aubrey's life.
I often look at police shootings and, you see the police union president come out within hours and, declare that the shooting's fine, there's no issues. I have problems with that because the investigation's ongoing, and I don't think it does anything to public credibility when you have a union official coming out making those kind of very strong comments, defensive comments, so early in the process.
The grief and anger in Mareeba are raw, partly because there are so many questions still unanswered, and the family will have to wait months, if not years, for the coronial inquest process to be complete.
We want the truth. We've asked that, in every kind of way that we can, because it seems to be happening to our people more than it should be. Shouldn't be happening at all.
The officers who shot Mr. Donahue were members of an elite unit who assist with high-risk incidents. At the time of the shooting, their uniforms were not fitted with cameras, unlike all general duties police in Queensland. Mr. Donahue's family have been shown the limited video that was taken by the other officers, but it doesn't show the fatal moments.
when you've got the guns loaded and you've got all the gear on, bulletproof vests. Now, I know police officers say he could have ran up and lunged him, but because there's no cameras, it's who's transparent here?
Dr Gracelyn Smallwood has advocated for the rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people for more than 50 years. She resigned from her First Nations advisory position to the Queensland Police over the death of Aubrey Donahue.
I still believe that Commissioner Katarina is wanting change and is going to reform. But when you've been doing this for 55 years, that made my mind up just like that. The cameras, it's a given that they should be compulsory.
Queensland Police told 7:30 the rollout of body-worn cameras for specialist officers was due by the 31st of March and has now been completed. A spokesperson said CERT officers now utilise both body-worn and vehicle-mounted cameras during their operations unless there are justifiable operational effectiveness or safety limitations.
I understand there was some logistics in terms of the cameras fitting on there or maybe being problematic and giving away their positions in dark areas, etc., things like that. I would have thought that would be worked out much earlier. I mean, we've had body-worn cameras on general duty officers now for years.
Dr Terry Goldsworthy is a former police officer and an expert in criminology.
If you look at police shootings, they are the pinnacle of use of force for our police services, where they're killing someone in terms of a lawful use of force that results in a fatality. So we should expect that our police are accountable, they're transparent in regards to their actions, and they should be happy to account for those actions.
Queensland Police confirmed that in 2022 they fatally shot 8 people and 3 were First Nations.
Things need to change, and that has to start from the top. They need to start to change the way they do policing.
A coroner will examine the circumstances of Aubrey Donahue's death alongside the police response and its use of force. Neither the police or the union would answer questions from 7:30, citing the upcoming inquest.
And it may be a justifiable homicide. The next question is, was it an avoidable homicide? Did you need to be in that proximity? Did you need to go into the house? What was the threat level that caused you to interact in that manner? They're all questions that the coroner will ask and be seeking answers to.
Justice is all I want for my son. It's not going to bring him back, but I just want justice for him.